Good morning. Welcome to First Church Unitarian, Littleton, Massachusetts online. Happy summer solstice, happy Juneteenth, happy flower communion and farewell. My name is Lezli Whitehouse, and this will be my last official role as an outgoing member of the standing committee here at FCU. It's been an honor. And I leave us in good hands with full confidence. In Community Matters this week, we have several important topics. From our Racial Justice Action Committee, RJAC, they have some really important factual information about Christopher Columbus. And since his statues are being pulled down, it's a very useful place to find some information about him. Online, the summer service, we will have some. The deacons and Reverend Lara will be offering Sunday morning services that will take place on Zoom, not in the YouTube live format or the Facebook live format. They will, however, be recorded so that members and friends can watch with a specific link in lieu of borrowing a DVD for the service. Reverend Lara, kind of like a Where's Waldo? Where's Reverend Lara? Will be presenting these from wherever she is, whether it's at home or traveling. And they are intended for keeping a participatory feel for the summer. So please check the Community Matters for variations and the familiar elements. If you are interested, Reverend Lara is also interested in having you participate. So please let her know if you would like to help with Time for All Ages or music specifically, or anything else you'd like to talk with her about. Some planned dates for the summer. June 28th at 10, there will be a Sunday service live with the General Assembly. So that'll be all of us from all over the country and the world. July 5th, we will have remarks coming back from our own FCU attendees and people going to General Assembly. August 2nd will be an annual joint summer service with all of our UU neighbors. This will be online and it will be hosted by the Stowe-Acton Church with Reverend Cynthia Landrum preaching. The Greater Littleton Interfaith Council, GLIC, formerly the Littleton Council on Churches, and Indivisible Acton area will be co-sponsoring a community conversation with Police Chief Matt Pinard around social and racial injustice and the effects of policing in Littleton. The Zoom meeting will be Tuesday, June 23rd, coming up 6 to 7 p.m. Please register. The link is in your Community Matters. This Sunday will also be the final Sunday of Vicki Merriam as our Director of Religious Education. We thank you so much for the time you have given us, and we are honored and pleased to have you part of our community, as you always will be, and good luck in your retirement. As always, please join us for Joys and Concerns and the virtual coffee hour following this service. Again, welcome to First Church Unitarian of Littleton and this flower communion. Let us worship.
Good morning. I would like to echo Leslie's remarks. It's been a wonderful time working with Vicki and having her a part of our services and working with her as a colleague. I would like to also announce our opening hymn for today is number 1. So if you have a hymnal, you can get it out. I'm also going to be displaying the music on the screen, so you'll be able to see the music and the words. And please do a hymn sing-along on your own along with the choir. Again, it's hymn number 1, and this is a hymn that Vicki recommended, or she asked that we sing it one more time so she could hear it again.
Our call to worship, the words of Allman-Morton. On Father's Day, we honor those people who have been teachers, confidants, and friends. We acknowledge that it is not biology that makes a parent, but love and attention. For those of us that have lost a father or a child, we hold their memories in our hearts. For all of us who are fathers, we ask for continued help in discerning how best to care for our children, whether they are 5 or 50 years old. May the strands of relationship between ourselves and all of creation grow ever stronger. May all of us, no matter what our place in the cycle of life, experience nurture and love. And may we pass on that love to those we encounter on our own paths. So may it be. Let us worship. I invite you, if you wish, to join me in lighting a chalice in your home. And if you wish, say with me the words of our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Good morning. Once again, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us on this really special Sunday indeed. I want you to know, first of all, well, for those of you who don't normally tune in, I should say this and I always forget. My name is Lara Hoke, and I'm the minister of First Church Unitarian in Littleton, and I love it here. This is a great community. So today, first of all, you're sort of lucky for once that you're worshiping virtually, because I have to tell you, it is a sauna in here. Okay, but what we have today, very special Sunday, it's Father's Day, and I wish we could spend more time honoring fathers and father figures this morning, but we have other special things that we need to do today. It's a flower communion, virtual flower communion for the first time, and flower communion is a wonderful Unitarian Universalist tradition. It was started by the Reverend Norbert Čapek, who founded the Unitarian Church in Czechoslovakia almost 100 years ago, back in 1923. And he wanted to sort of return to the original meaning of communion and claim it for religious liberals again, reclaim it. So he wanted to go back to the meaning of communion as in union with the holy, the divine, nature, the universe, what have you. So he invented this flower communion ritual, which many, many Unitarian Universalist congregations still do all these years later. He contributed a lot to our movement. He wrote many, many hymns, many of which are still sung in Europe. We have a few of them still in our gray hymnal. But he's best known for two things, the flower communion and the way that he died. Unfortunately, Čapek lived in hard times. He lived in Czechoslovakia when it was ceded to Nazi Germany before World War II. And he spoke out against the Nazis. And eventually he was captured and shipped off to Dachau, where he was martyred in 1942, which makes the flower communion all the more poignant. In addition to the flower communion today, the other very special thing is that this is indeed, as Lezli said, and Molly said too, our last Sunday with Vicki Merriam as our Director of Religious Education. And boy, we're gonna miss her. It has been an honor, and I'll say more later on that. Do I have anything else? There's a lot of music today. So if you have headphones, I recommend using them because it'll all sound that much better, for the music especially. And thank you as always to Mike Pillman for helping us out. Thank you to Molly and the choir for the music. And I'll have others to thank along the way. Thank you to Chris Ursuline for the Community Matters every week and now monthly in the summer. Thank you to Lezli Whitehouse for Community Matters this morning and for all you did as co-chair of the Standing Committee. I will really miss you on the committee. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to pass it on to Vicki to take us away for one more time for all ages. Hey, Vicki.
Hello.
Hey.
Thank you for your kind words so far. I know there's more coming, which will make me glad we're on virtual stuff because, you know, I don't handle that very well. So, but anyway, I asked for that hymn. It's been a long time favorite of mine, but also because it expresses some of my wishes for you as a congregation and FCU and the wonderful community that you have there. Love will always be present there, whether you're present in the building, it's there for you, with you, and to return to. I'm glad to see the kids. I asked some of the kids to join me, and actually anyone can do this. I have picked my story for today, Big Red Barn. This is sort of the companion book to Goodnight Moon by Margaret Wise Brown. Those two books together, for me, are what life is. Beginnings and endings, and the reason we are here. Again, all about love. So the kids are going to help me. Are you guys ready? Yeah, okay, good. Oh, look, we've got a chicken joining us too. 2 chickens. Hi, guys. All right, Big Red Barn. Now everybody can join in here and you'll figure it out when you hear the kids. By the big red barn in the great green field, there was a pink pig who was learning to squeal. There was a great big horse and a very little horse. The sheep and the donkey the geese, and the goats were making funny noises down in their throats. Hi, Natalie. An old scarecrow was leaning on his hoe, and a field mouse was born in a field of corn. In the barn, there was a rooster and a pigeon too. And a big white hen standing on one leg. And under the hen was a quiet egg. There was a bantam rooster and a little bantam hen. Is that what you got? What sound does a rooster and a hen make again? And a big clutch of eggs. 10. There was a big brown cow and a little brown cow. There was an old black cat and a tiger tomcat and all their kittens too. There was a big red dog with some little and some little puppy dogs all round and warm. They all lived together in the big red barn. And they played all day in the grass and the hay. When the sun went down in the great green field, the big cow lowed. The little pig squealed. The horses stomped in the sweet warm hay. And the little donkey gave one last bray. The hens were sleeping on their nests. Even the roosters took a rest. The little black bats flew away out of the barn at the end of the day. Do you know what sound bats make?
No.
Sometimes they make a very high squeaking. Can you make a high squeaking? And there they were in the barn all night long, sound asleep, except for those chickens. I hear the real chickens here. In the big red barn, only the mice were left to play, rustling and squeaking in the hay, while the moon sailed high in the dark night sky. What a wonderful life they have in that big red barn. I think it's a lot like the wonderful life we all get to live in this world. That's like our big red barn. So thank you for joining me. Chickens too. All right, time for sharing. Do you have something? I saw that you had something. Yeah, go ahead.
I made this.
Wow.
That's pretty.
That is beautiful. I love coloring in patterns like that. And where'd Julia go? Because I saw she had something. Oh, you have one too. Look how pretty. Very beautiful.
And I'm starting to, I was cutting out a paper feather.
Oh, did you cut that out yourself? What a good job. And how about Madeline or Riley or Liza?
We stopped at a yard sale and got this old teapot.
Oh, wow. That looks like the kind you put on top of a wood stove.
Yeah, except you can't use it because it's all rusty and yucky inside.
Oh, so it would leak. What do you think you could do with it?
We'll play with it. Play
Okay.
with water in it.
You could also plant flowers in it.
Yeah. Keep up flowers. And then you could have it, and then you could have some stick up spout.
Right. And how about Maddie? Do you have anything besides a cute little chicken there?
Nope.
Liza, do you have anything you want to share? The chicken? I first saw these chickens when they were just tiny little hatchlings.
I know, and they're just fuzzy and they're not feathers.
Right. But now they've grown into chickens.
Mhm.
You've been taking really good care of them.
Thanks. Apple. Off my
Okay.
Don't pick my ear.
Anybody else?
Nope.
Well, you know, I've been really happy to know you. Trying to hide that phone. It's been great. And I will always think of you. And actually we're gonna see each other one more time, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna have a fairy tea party on Wednesday at 2 at church. And we'll build fairy houses. So anybody who wants to come over, or at some point when you're over there by the church, outside in the front yard, under the tree, where someone has put a lovely little arrangement of chairs so you can sit under the tree by the flowers. Look for the fairy houses that we're going to build. And that will be my last time. And then we'll have treats. And we're doing it all by staying far apart and wearing our masks, right?
Yeah.
And if you can, dress up a little bit like a fairy. Something, a fairy-like outfit. And I'll see you then. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, guys. Great to see you. That sounds like a lot of fun. So, yeah, it was Laura Simple who put those chairs out there, and it is a great spot. And when I resume office hours, I might have some virtual office hours out there, some real live office hours outside while the weather permits, and I'll send out notices when that starts. So
I have to say, it is so welcoming. When I went over and saw those chairs, I thought, oh, this is just wonderful. So thank you, Laura.
yeah, thank you, Laura Simple. And thank you, Vicki, as always. Love your stories. And yeah, I'll say more later, but thank you so much. So this is time for our offering. And this week's offering does in fact go to First Church Unitarian here in Littleton. Your offering will go to support the good works of this church. You can give your offering either through the mail with a check to First Church Unitarian, 19 Foster Street, Littleton, Massachusetts, 01460. Or you can go to our website, fculittle.org, and in the upper right of the website, you'll see Donate button. And if you wish, you can also help to pay to offset the fees that happen if you donate online. Thank you for giving generously. And this morning's virtual offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation.
I just want to say very quickly that this is another choir compilation. I say compilation because while this is a hymn in our hymnal, I had each of the choir members record themselves separately in little 30-second clips, and then I combined everything together with an editing program. But here you go. This song was suggested by Lynn Courtney, and I think it came out very well. Thank you again to the choir for their patience and persistence in making these songs work.
Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all us imprisoned, Circle for release. Circle for the planet. Circle for each soul. For the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle around for freedom. Circle around for peace. For all of us in prison. Circle for release. Circle for the planet. Circle for each soul. For the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace. For all of us in prison. Circle for release. Circle for the planet. Circle for each soul. For the children of our children. Keep the circle whole.
Well, that was beautiful. On behalf of the RE Committee, Debbie Eston, Tatum Hammer, Karen Tucker-Barasano, and myself, we would like to thank everyone, children, youth, and adults, who participated in our program this year. Your support and caring is what makes it successful. We're trying to include everyone in this list, and if we forgot you, we are sorry, and please let us know. In the words of Alan Cohen, appreciation is the highest form of prayer, for it acknowledges the presence of good wherever you shine the light of your thankful thoughts. Our Kids Space volunteers, Jen Banks, Allison Bentley, Mark Buccieri, Martha Child, Lynn Courtney, Tatum Hammer, Andy Leonar, Cindy Malley, Kristen McManus, Juliana Miller, Ashley Richley, Lara Semple, Dara Sweetser, Caprice Tarbox, Susan Tardella Williams, Emily Welch, Lezli Whitehouse. And of course, our children, Fergus, Eliza, Riley, and Maddie, Natalie, Julia and Lainey, Elsa, Sierra, Shiloh, and Elle. Our nursery volunteers, Jennifer Banks, Allison Bentley, Julia Buccieri, Rihanna Buccieri, Martha Child, Lynn Sina, Lynn Courtney, Amber, Kaylin, and Bobby Dressel, Debbie Eston, Cheryl Hollinger, Wendy McDougall, Harry Palmer, Laura Semple, Caprice Tarbox, Susan Tordella Williams, Linda Wells, and Lezli Whitehouse. Our Christmas pageant director, also known as the Hoarder of Cats, Bobby Dressel, and our wonderful cast, Fergus, Theo, Noah, Dan, Lainey and Julia, Elsa, Sierra, Elle, Brian, and Caprice. Our youth advisors, Luann Colombo, Sandy Leonard, Dan Lombardi, and the two Utes, Noah and Harry. And Vicki, I don't even know what to say to show appreciation to you and what you've been to our church and to me. I will say that for the last month or so, I've had the song "To Sir with Love" going through my head, changing the words to "Her with Love." And that's just a start. Thank you.
Molly, do you want to intro or shall I just play?
I'll intro. I'm very excited to present this next piece. Again, the choir has worked very hard and submitted lots of recordings to present this for you. We also have Charlie Weeks on drums. If you haven't guessed yet, it is Let the River Run, our annual end of the year service closer. So please enjoy.
Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you. So, usually when you walk into the sanctuary on a Flower Communion Sunday, you're overwhelmed with the sights and smells that await you there. And so this year, obviously, we're having a virtual Flower Communion. No, it's not the same, but hopefully you will enjoy it just the same. You don't have the sense, can't smell the flowers today. If you have some allergies like I do, that might be for the best. But I have created a little virtual collage here, a virtual bouquet with some of the pictures that you sent me. And I just wanted you to get that little feeling of like, wow, walking into the sanctuary and being hit with all the beautiful flowers. This year, it will be different, of course. What I will be doing is we will see a video, sort of a virtual Flower Communion with a video of the pictures you sent and some music by Molly. It's lovely, actually. Again, headphones make this better. And I'll say a little bit more about the Flower Communion process on the other side of the Flower Communion virtual parade. But right now, I just wanted to share a few thoughts with you. What is the theology of flowers? What is the theology of flowering plants? Do flowers tell us anything about the nature of the universe, or of God, if you will? Flowers really aren't like other things that we tend to grow and garden. Some plants, like trees, are useful. They give shade, for instance. But even the biggest flowers don't really provide shade for humans, anyway. And some plants provide food, vegetables, herbs, and so on. True, some flowers are edible, but you wouldn't exactly plant flowers for the sake of sustenance. Flowers are really a whole other type of gardening. Growing flowers is really an existential exercise. Flowers are famously ephemeral. Perennials come back year after year, but they don't stay in bloom for very long. And annuals stay in bloom for a bit longer, but they won't come back the next year. Either way, flowers are nature's beautiful candle lit at both ends. As Edna St. Vincent Millay said, "I light my candle at both ends. It will not last the night. But ah, my foes, and oh, my friends, it gives a lovely light." Flowers are like that. They're nature's candle lit at both ends, nature's prodigal plants, if you will. Maybe ministers and poets and those of us who are challenged to be conventionally practical are particularly drawn to the ephemeral flower. The great Unitarian Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "These roses under my window make no reference to former roses or to better ones. They are for what they are. They exist with God today. There is no time to them. There is simply the rose. It is perfect in every moment of its existence. Before a leaf bud has burst, its whole life acts. In the full-blown flower, there is no more. In the leafless root, there is no less." He goes on, "We cannot be happy and strong until we too live with nature in the present, above time." Emerson reminds us not just to stop and smell the roses, as they say, but also to see the rose as the ultimate reminder that there is no moment but this moment. To see in the rose that we are living in eternity right now. We can, with the rose, live above time if we stay in the moment. Be here now, the flowers say. That's part of the theology of flowers. Another part of the theology of flowers is blooming. Flowers bloom. I remember getting an amaryllis as a gift. You know, amaryllis are those huge bulb flowers that shoot right up into a tallish stalk, and then they have huge blooms that go out in 4 different directions. And I planted the amaryllis, put it near a window, and the stalk grew up. It got very tall. The leaves were impressive, and I was really excited for the blooms to come. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited. But it never bloomed. There were no flowers. Now, it was an impressive plant in its own right, as tall as it was, with a stalk and leaves that big. But without blooming, it was just sort of sad. Because when you know something has the potential to bloom, you want to see it happen. Every person, every organization made up of people is meant to bloom. We are all meant to reach our full potential, our fullest inner beauty. It just takes the right kind of nourishment. Looking back, I think the amaryllis probably wasn't getting quite enough light. Most things need plenty of light and the right amount of space and attention to bloom. And that is the heart of the theology of flowers. You need light, you need space, you need attention to bloom. But there's another thing about the theology of flowers. Flowers and all their beautiful shapes, sizes, and scents are a reminder that nature loves variety. They're a reminder that diversity is divinity. Our beautiful virtual bouquet of flowers this morning is a vivid reminder that the beloved community is not a bland melting pot, but instead a glorious multicultural creation. The theology of flowers reminds us that nature loves diversity. Indeed, it takes all of our efforts and all of our diverse gifts to create the beautiful community that we are. It takes all of our diverse gifts and ways of being to bloom as a community. I want to thank each of you for what you bring, your unique gift to this community. For all you do for your family, I thank you. For all you do for your friends and neighbors, I thank you. For all you do for this congregation and the broader community, I thank you. And for all you do for the Earth community, I thank you. And now, please enjoy our virtual parade of flowers for our flower communion. Thank you so much for sending in those beautiful pictures of flowers. And for those of you who put yourselves in the pictures, I thank you. It's so great to see your faces, especially while we're apart. And I want you to know the picture behind me now, my virtual background, was sent to me by Joyce Williams, whose picture came a little late to get into the virtual parade of flowers, but I wanted to share it with you because it's lovely. And the rule here is, if you are a member of FCU over 90 years, you can send me any visual anytime you want, and I will display it. So that's our rule of thumb. Just a couple more words about the flower communion, the virtual flower communion this year. So normally, as part of the ritual, each person brings a flower, ideally, and they come up front and they create this unique bouquet. And then the other part of the ritual is that instead of seeing a parade like you just saw, people line up and they come down while music plays and they take one flower. And they have that flower to sort of ponder the rest of their day. And unfortunately, there's no way to have that exact experience with our virtual worship. But here's what I will offer to you for those who wish to participate. If you wish, send me an email. My email is minister@fculittle.org. Send me an email and ask for me to send you one virtual flower picture. And you can consider that your flower to ponder. You might not know whose picture it was, and that's okay. Part of the beauty of the flower communion is it symbolizes not just the beautiful creation we make together, it symbolizes the gifts we bring, the gifts we receive, and that sometimes you don't even know from where you got that gift. Sometimes you don't know which wonderful person in the congregation made something happen. So let the mystery flower you receive in the email be something you ponder, like Carl Jung's synchronicity. Try to think of it that way, as a meaningful coincidence, because I'm going to send it to you very randomly. So let that be our flower communion. I'm going to change back my background now to the sanctuary where I am. And just say a few words, because there's really, what can you say about our wonderful Director of Religious Education, Vicki Merriam. Vicki, I can't believe it. You know, there's an unreality about this time anyway, being virtual. And, you know, I'm putting you on screen now, fair warning. There's an unreality to it anyway. And I just can't believe that this is your last Sunday as our DRE. And I want you all to know that Vicki actually retired back in 2014. She already did this. She already retired. She retired in June of 2014 after 35 years as the Director of Religious Education at UU Society East in Manchester, Connecticut. And always had this wonderful reputation as a religious educator who really knew her stuff, who really knew how to do a great religious education program. And soon after she retired in June of 2014, she realized she felt like she wanted to do more. She had more she wanted to give. She still wanted to do the ministry with kids. And so moving, I guess, up closer this way, she wound up seeing the position here at this church in Littleton. In August of 2014, she started here at FCU, 6 years. And so I've been working with you, Vicki, for the last 2 years. And you've been just great. You really helped me settle in my first 2 years here. I'll never forget that. Having somebody with so much expertise was such a gift, especially as, you know, an incoming minister. And I so appreciate that. You also provided so much continuity for this congregation during a time of ministerial change. There were 3 different ministers during your time here, with Marta and then Steve as interim, and then I came along. And you were just a great, solid support for the community in general, as well as minister to the kids. And that's been, you know, invaluable to the congregation. You tell wonderful stories. I heard that before I ever came, that you're a great storyteller, and I've so enjoyed that part of your ministry. You are so just solid and unflappable, and you're going to be a really tough act for anyone to follow. You will be dearly missed, and that doesn't even begin to cover it. But I'll stop there for now. And before you have a chance to respond to any of this and all, we have a special treat to share. And that treat is a special video. And for this video, we thank Carolyn McCreary and the persons that you will see. So here's our surprise video for you, number one.
Go now and please, go now and please, may God so kind you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now and please, go now and please, may God so kind you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Am I on now?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Well, that was lovely. Thank you to all the children who joined in and sang, and all the children who joined in and made animal noises. And just thank you to everyone. There's so many to thank, and can't say them all. Everyone who helped, everyone who welcomed me when I started, everyone who supported me through the years. In other words, all of you. It's been a wonderful experience for me. FCU is a wonderful congregation. I can't tell you that enough. You are loving, caring, generous, supportive. And it is with huge gratitude that I end my time as a DRE, I think. No, I'm sure. Having served this wonderful congregation. I'll miss you. I'll miss the kids, of course. There's so much to say, but I can't say it all. I don't have the time right now. Flowers, we're all like flowers. We're all like animals in the barn. We're the same, we're different. We share our beauty and our love and our care with each other. And this whole earth, this whole world is like that barn, full of beauty, full of life. Hold on to that. Hold on to that. I want to do our benediction, and I'm going to go back to another favorite book, Charlotte's Web. E.B. White is one of the great writers of all time. Life in the barn was very good, night and day, winter and summer, spring and fall, dull days and bright days. It was the best place to be, thought Wilbur, this warm, delicious cellar with the garrulous geese, the changing seasons, the heat of the sun, the passage of swallows, the nearness of rats, the sameness of sheep, the love of spiders, the smell of manure, and the glory of everything. We are so lucky to be here, to be alive, to live in this beautiful place, and to have a community like FCU to be part of. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and goodbye.
Goodbye, Vicki. Thank you for everything. And don't go anywhere. we have a special postlude for you now, with thanks to all the participants, folks from Ukes and the choir, and well, you'll see. And thank you to Mike for putting it all together. Enjoy our postlude. It's for you, Vicki.